Welcome back to Buzzer to Buzzer.
All right, guys. So the first week of the NFL 2020 season has officially finished, and have there been a lot of great games to watch. Not only is it great to be able to get back to that football action, especially after the COVID-19 pandemic with the huge absence of sports, but did we see some great games and some unexpected outcomes, to say the least. Today, if you might remember from our last week's predictions video, we're going to be reacting to our predictions which we made, see who was correct and incorrect, and just talk about our general thoughts and takeaways from the games. So without any further ado, let's get to reacting to the NFL. All right, so the first game which we're going to be talking about today is going to be the one between the Cleveland Browns and the Baltimore Ravens, in which the Baltimore Ravens demolished the Browns, winning 38-6. Now, last week's prediction video, you guys can see who guessed what, and it can show that me, Harsh, and Aryan, we all had the Browns winning. However, to Abi's credit, he had the Ravens winning. So, Abi, kudos to you for getting that first victory, getting that first prediction right. But let's talk about what went wrong for the Browns and our general thoughts.
I said it from last week. I said the Ravens would absolutely destroy the Browns. That was correct. Come on. We all know that. I don't know why you guys said the Browns are winning. Arian has so much faith in Baker Mayfield for no reason. I mean, when you have a team like with Lamar Jackson, I told you, the teams haven't figured it out yet. The Titans were the only team last year. The Ravens are still going to do really well this year. And, if you guys believe that a Baker Mayfield-led offense can win against a Lamar Jackson-based team, you guys are just crazy. And that's why they blew him out. So,
All right, let me explain. So, I guess you guys were right in the sense that my unfounded belief in Baker Mayfield backfired on me. But I still haven't lost faith. I'm gonna give him this whole season. Obviously, they have a new coach this year, whole new system. I have no idea where the hell OBJ went yesterday. I mean, he was nowhere to be found. Baker Mayfield had one interception, not many passing yards. He was very inefficient. So I put this loss on Baker Mayfield. But to be fair, it is his first year with the new coach. I'm gonna give him some time to get adjusted to the new system.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just wrong, bro. I was buying the Baker Mayfield hype. Arian was feeding it. I was like, this man may be speaking facts here about Baker Mayfield. I mean, it looks like he has the pieces. He has the running backs. He has the wide receivers. He has the tight end. He has everything on paper. Like, what went wrong for that team? It was the play calling. Like, every single piece of that offense failed to function to its full form, and that's what caused their loss.
Yeah, gotta accept where you're wrong. And last week, I did think that the NFL had Lamar Jackson figured out, but clearly not. Man still threw for 275 yards, throwing for 3 touchdowns as well. So I like Harsh. I gotta say, that Aryan fantasy of Baker Mayfield started to get populated, thinking that my OBJ in this week's fantasy could have popped up as well. But clearly, we saw some other things go on, and we clearly saw the Ravens pull away big time against the Browns. All right, let's move on to our hometown game, that being between the Chicago Bears and the Detroit Lions. Guys, the Bears make us do this every year, putting us on the what do I even say?
On the what? Where did he put it? Where did they put it? On the what?
I don't know, man. But
on the edge of our seats. On the edge of our seats.
On the edge of our seats, to say the least, man. But that was quite a game in which the Bears were down 14 points in the fourth quarter, coming back to score 21 unanswered points to win the game 27-23 against the Detroit Lions. Now, guys, we all had a lot of faith in Mitchell Trubisky, and throughout those first 3 quarters, some doubts started to arise. But when that fourth quarter came, my oh my, Mitch Trubisky showed what he can do. Now, here are the picks which we had last week, and as you guys can see, the only person who had ruled out our Chicago hometown team was Aryan. Aryan, what do you got to say for yourself?
Okay. So, look, the reason I picked the Lions to win the game was because the last 7 years, Chicago Bears have lost their season opener, right? If DeAndre Swift had hands, I mean, it would have been, game over, right? Lions would have won. But, I'm very happy, to say the least. Bears got up to a good start this year. Mr. Trubisky's looking at the MVP. Let's go. I'm just stoked that the Bears got their first win of the season.
All right, hold on now. Before we go on to what we think about this game, last time we were talking about this, I said Mitchell Trubisky would have 3 touchdowns and lead the Bears to the victory. And the immediate words that followed that were B calling me a moron. Can we run that back, Rayon, real quick?
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
He's going to lead the Bears to a win over the Lions, and this is going to be the beginning of a Mitchell Trubisky MVP season.
Okay, you're a moron, man.
Who's the moron now?
Okay, fine, harsh. All right, I'm gonna give respect where it's due. Yeah, Trubisky had a great fourth quarter, but after looking at the third quarter, it was pretty. I know that everyone gave up hope. I know that Aryan and Harsh too. You guys both gave up
What?
hope.
When did I give up hope? I never give up hope.
Maybe not Harsh, you, but I know that Aryan was giving up hope on Trubisky. I don't think anyone really saw this fourth quarter performance from Trubisky coming. But yeah, I have to give him credit. He played really well in the fourth quarter. That's why they won. But also just note that this was against the Lions defense. Right? They can't do this every game. The Lions clearly choked this game, and it was their game to win. It just the Bears came back, Trubisky came back, and they just outplayed them in the fourth quarter.
Well, one thing is for certain. If we can get that fourth quarter Mitch Trubisky for the rest of the season, we're going to have a great season. And it'll be, unlike what you said, me, Ari, and Harsh, you've been saying it. This is Mitch's 2020 MVP season. And that if that fourth quarter Mitch stays true, we're going to see a lot more wins for the Chicago Bears. All right, now let's move on to one of the largest anticipated games for the week, that being between the two greatest quarterbacks, arguably right now in the NFL or in history, you might say, that being Tom Brady and the Drew Brees duo, which we're going to see twice this year. Now, the first one already elapsed with the New Orleans Saints winning 34-23, in which we were expecting a sort of better performance, I think we would say, for the Bucs, in which Tom Brady threw 2 interceptions, one of those being a pick 6. Now, guys, what are we thinking here? Are we seeing the cliff theory of Tom Brady put in action? What's happening here?
You know, I've been saying this ever since Tom Brady went to the Buccaneers. I know it's just one game, but looking after looking at his performance against the Saints defense, I just don't see like the same Tom Brady that was on the Patriots. TB12, like even around with what we were saying with Gronk, like Gronk underperformed. Like he didn't even perform at all, to be honest.
Yeah.
Tom Brady, that pick 6 was – I haven't seen him throw a pick 6 in a long time. Yep. And he just didn't play well as he usually does. I think that this won't be a year where he could win it for the Buccaneers. I think the Saints really played well, and they're going to go far this year.
Okay, I want to back that up a bit. Tom Brady, I was reading a stat the other day. Tom Brady's the third quarterback in this decade to throw a pick 6 in 3 straight games. Going back to last season, he's thrown a pick 6 in 3 straight games. And so, I could definitely see why people think that the cliff theory might be coming true. But, I said this in the previous video that I just think this was a result of no training camp, no preseason, and a whole new system with new receivers, new everything, new offensive line. And he just hasn't had time to adjust. I think that by the time we get to Thanksgiving, week 10, week 11, you'll definitely see Tom Brady in full form. And I have complete faith in the Buccaneers to possibly win this division.
Orion, I'd agree with you, except for the fact that I can't have full faith with that defense being that big of a question mark. I mean, it might be too early to question the Buccaneers offense because on paper they should be a very good team. And I understand that because they didn't have training camp, it takes a while to get that team chemistry growing. But now you should start worrying about that Buccaneers defense. I mean, it's basically the same defense as last year, and they've shown no signs of improvement. They were the fourth worst defense in the league last year, and I don't think that's getting any better this year.
Here are the picks from last week. We had Ari and Harsh and Abi. You all picked the Saints to win, but I had the Bucs. I believe, like Harshi said, on paper they were looking so great with adding Leonard Fournette, especially that offense looked ready. But like Abi, you said, we barely saw that offense get into rhythm with Rob Gronkowski only catching 2 catches, Leonard Fournette not having a great game as well. And sure, it's just the first game of the season. Hopefully, it doesn't foreshadow something too great for the rest of the season, or else Tom Brady is not going to have a successful season. But we did see Drew Brees have a great game and put on a show along with Alvin Kamara going off for, I believe, 2 touchdowns as well. But it'll be interesting to see the next duel between these 2 quarterbacks as well.
Also, I just want to make a comparison in which what I think the Buccaneers are playing like. I think as you said, on paper they're a great team. I think this is going to be a case of OKC when they had Russell Westbrook, Paul George, and Carmelo Anthony. On paper, they had a stacked team. Something just didn't click. They didn't perform. I think the same is going to happen with the Buccaneers. They need a lot more pieces to make their offense better, like what Harsh was saying, and with their defense. So yeah, I don't see them doing great this year, and they just need to figure things out.
All right, so let's talk about that final game being between the Dallas Cowboys and the Los Angeles Rams. Now, guys, the Rams did end up winning 20-17, but that fourth quarter had a lot of interesting things, from that 11-minute mark in which the Cowboys made a questionable decision to go for it on fourth down, resulting in them losing by only a field goal, aka 3 points, and also later down the line when Dak Prescott threw that huge bomb to Michael Gallup. It was called a offensive pass interference, pushing the Cowboys' dreams to win that game even back further. Now, guys, is it a coincidence that we're all wearing black today in honor of the Cowboys? What do we think happened that game?
I'm not going to talk about the pass interference call in the Cowboys game because at the end of the day, it's a ref's call. I know it's controversial, but I'm just going to talk about the QB's performance. Starting with Dak Prescott, I think that he underperformed. I think the only reason that Cowboys were that close is because of Zeke. And if without Zeke, they would have been scored barely any points. And with Jared Goff, I've been saying it for a long time. I just don't think that he's the quarterback that he once was. Yeah, he had no touchdowns, an interception, like around 270 yards, like a mediocre game. For how much he gets paid, I don't think he's worth being on the Rams. So yeah, I just don't see the Rams winning a lot of games this year. But I think the Cowboys have hope, maybe if Dak steps it up.
Yeah, I picked the Cowboys to win this game just because I thought their offense was going to explode. But obviously that wasn't the case, especially seeing the second half. The first half, they scored a good 14 points, and they even had a couple more opportunities. But the second half, I just don't know what happened. They had so many punts, 3 and outs. They couldn't get their passing game going whatsoever until the end of the game, which is when the pass interference happened. But yeah, I think the Cowboys are going to come back strong. They're playing a terrible Atlanta defense next week, and I definitely expect to see Dak Prescott and all those receivers go off next week.
Yeah, I think this is a simple scenario of too many good people at one time. I think they have all the pieces to be a top-tier offense in this league, but they were just confused, like I said last time. They need time to figure out, especially with the limited training camp. It's the same thing as the Buccaneers. They need more time to figure out their offense and for it to actually be successful.
Well, exactly, Harshan. Last week, putting up last week's results, you and I were the people who did call the Rams winning this game. Aryan and Abi did have the Cowboys winning. And although it was a close game, I don't think every other game is going to be that close. The Cowboys, sure, they got a bit lucky in that third quarter and especially the first 2 quarters. But that key point of making sure that Amari Cooper, Ezekiel Elliott, Dak Prescott, all these guys can get in sync and play in a nice rhythm, it's that idea of the Browns, essentially. They got all the pieces. But can they get that chemistry? Can they get that symphony occurring so that they can play like a good football team? That's going to be something which we're going to be watching for sure. All right, guys. Boy, that was a great first week of football, and does it feel great to be able to sit down on the couch and watch some great games on that Sunday morning and afternoon. Anyways, here are the cumulative record predictions for this first week. As you guys can see, Harsh and Abi are currently tied for that first place, predicting 4 games correctly. I myself am in third place with 3 predictions correctly, and Arian is currently in fourth with 2 games predicted correctly. As the season progresses, expect many more videos of us reacting to picks and making further predictions and showing who's been doing the most accurate picks as well. As always, guys, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and comment down below any surprising takes you had from this past week of games. As always, guys, take care, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. See ya.
As always.